Hello YouTube, this is Own Soldier 86 coming back to you with part 8 of the video series on making levels in Super Smash Bros. 64. Today I was going to show you guys a little bit about getting into the nitty-gritty here of making these textures work for the different levels. And I wanted to dive right into one of the next levels I wanted to work on, which is the Mystic Cave Zone. And that will replace the DK level in Super Smash Bros., the Congo Jungle. And what I did is I already downloaded this palette, which is the Mystic Cave from Sonic 2, the palettes from Spider's Resource, and it has a bunch of pixelated chunks taken right from the game. And these chunks are actually going to be too large for us to use as they are. Remember, our pixel stipulations are 64 by 64, 32, or 16, and these chunks as they are is 128. So we're going to already need to divvy these up a little bit. So what I did is I already go ahead and took this rail texture and made it 64 pixels long. And notice that in the bottom corner here, we have 64 by 13. Well, since 13 is pretty close to 16, all I did is scaled it up a few more pixels, and this is what we end up with. And it's seamless. This side will be equal to this side. So if we take this and copy and paste it over and over and over again, we shouldn't see any seams in this texture. Another texture I really liked from this palette was this brick texture. And notice in this corner here, we have this piece of blue, which when I copied into here, used to exist right here. Well, if we have that blue sitting there, that's going to copy over here and over here, et cetera, et cetera. And that's going to make for some seams that'll look really terrible in game. So what I did is I actually took this side, copied it, moved it over here, and flipped it around. So you have to be a little creative on how you use your pixels so that we can try to generate images that are going to be seamless. One other thing I need to mention too quickly is that this background here, this pinkish background, is considered the alpha. And the alpha is meant to be transparent when you actually see it in game. Well, we're not going to mess with alpha textures, and I'll explain why in another video. Alpha textures will work in Smash Brothers, but only for the emulated version. I've only ever got them to work for like Project 64, but putting transparent textures into the actual hardware ends up giving them a really bad quality. And like I said, we'll talk about it later in a different video. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to find a way to cover up this pink. And since we have sort of like a black shadow color here, I did the eyedropper tool, picked out this black. It might not be perfectly black, so I want to have it as close as possible. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in. I actually didn't do a very good job. What we could do is the paint tool. Global. Turn down the tolerance just a little bit so we don't end up overriding anything that's already here. And there it goes. Now, what we'll see is a completed texture that we can use over and over and over again. And keep in mind, too, that this is only going to work for this top portion. We probably will want to get a second version of this brick texture that can expand on below this texture, like vertically, because otherwise we're going to see this lighter part expand above here and above and down here, and it'll show up over and over and over again. So what I can do is maybe a little later, I'll take this and find a chunk down here that will mesh well with this. When we come back, we're going to keep looking a little bit more at textures, and I'm going to keep working on this with you guys so you can see a little bit about how I'm going to find some other textures like this box right here. This looks really fun to do. So we'll try another video here in a little bit to do the same thing.